Hello, it's Taylor back at it again to show you guys another sensory recipe to kick your blues while at home. So I am going to give a disclaimer real quick. This is for 3 and up, so if there's any toddler parents out there or teachers out there, I'm sorry, but I'll get to you shortly. There's definitely going to be some other things we can do for the younger age groups coming up. So we're going to make flubber today using Elmer's glue and borax and water. So to make this recipe, you're going to need 2 mixing bowls. I'm using 1 big one and then 1 small one for mixing the hot water. I actually microwaved that for a minute, so it's already warm and mixed, so that'll make this easy and go quickly. So the first thing we want to do is take 2 cups, or let's see, is it 1.5? 1.5 cups of cold water and dump it into our big bowl. We're going to mix this with our Elmer's glue. So we're just gonna dump that in here. That's 1.5 cups of cold water. And we're gonna add 2 cups of white school glue to that. So take our glue. Let's see. There's 1 cup. So let me angle this down so you can see. 1 cup. And that's 2 cups. And then now if you want to add food coloring to your flubber, that's when you can put this into when we mix up the cold water and glue. I think I'm going to use magenta food coloring today to make my flubber that color. So I'm going to use a fork to first mix the water and glue together so it's one mixture and not separate consistencies. Now I'm going to add a little bit of the magenta food coloring. Ooh. This is still a little lighter than I want the color to be, so I'm going to add a couple more drops. You can also add liquid watercolor as well if you have that lying around at home. I know some families might have a big art collection of things if their kiddos are really into making art projects, so liquid watercolor also works just as well for this recipe as food coloring does. Since we're not eating it, it is not a problem to use that. So once this is mixed together, also another thing you can add now is glitter if you want to. I just recommend if you are going to use glitter, just be prepared for it to stick to your kiddos' hands. But it might be a good opportunity to talk about germs and how germs stick to our hands just like glitter, and we got to wash them off with soap and water. So it's up to you, but this is when you would want to add glitter too if you want to create a glittery flubber recipe. Next, now that that's mixed, your next task is to heat up 1 cup of water and mix it with 2 tablespoons of borax. So I just already mixed this together and I'm going to use another fork. Make sure it's all mixed up. You want it to make sure that all of the borax is dissolved and it just looks like water. You don't want any crystals at the bottom of your bowl. And then once you have that mixed, the next thing you're going to do is mix them together, but you definitely want to roll up your sleeves because it's going to get all over your hands. And you definitely want to have a Ziploc bag ready, which I have mine right here, because you're going to want to take it out once it's mixed together and store it in a Ziploc bag in the fridge until you're ready to play with it. So I'm just going to put this right here. It's going to get a little messy, so, you know, tuck your hair behind your ears, do what you need to do, and it's time to get our hands in here. So we're going to just slowly mix the hot water and borax into the glue and water solution, and you'll see right away that it starts to kind of congeal together. I love making sensory stuff. It's fun. I enjoy it. All right. If you want to get your kids involved during this step, feel free. It's pretty fun to just work through it, and this is totally safe for them to do. You know, as long as they don't ingest it, they can definitely help you with this step. So this recipe, I think I might have put a little extra borax than what I normally would, so it's a little bit, it's sticking together a little more in small clumps than I would normally want it to. But once you put it in the Ziploc bag, it'll all just kind of mesh together and become one full piece of flubber. So it shouldn't be an issue once it settles. So once all of it is stuck together, you're just gonna wanna make sure there's no extra water on here. There is definitely not in my bowl, which is good. So now I'm just gonna carefully just put it all in the bag. Normally it would be more of one consistency, not all these little pieces. But like I said, it won't matter once it all sticks together in here. This could definitely be a helping task for one of your kiddos. Yeah, I'd say that Play-Doh is more of a nap time go-to recipe to make, and then Flubber can definitely be made with your kiddos, helping you out. And then once it's all in there, you're just gonna wanna seal it closed and rinse off the bag. And then I like to store it in the fridge because it'll just keep a little longer. But yeah, once it's cleaned off, it should be good to use and play with for, you know, at least a week. Store it in the fridge. Some things I like to do with Flubber or put out for the kids to play with are, you know, cookie cutters are a good go-to, you know, something like this they could like. Also, if you have like a wire drying rack, you could actually put the Flubber on top and it'll come down through, and the kids can use Play-Doh scissors to cut the Flubber. That's another fun one if you have Play-Doh scissors. Also a fun thing that I always like to do when I was a preschool teacher is these little dollar spot erasers. If you have any of these lying around your house, these are snowmen and little snowflakes, but if you put those in there and let it all settle out, you can invite your kids to like rescue the erasers from the snow or from the Flubber, whatever you want to call it, but they always like to have a good mission like that or something that they, you know, a goal to achieve while they're playing. So anything like these are good little plastic or rubber pieces to put in. And then this is something that we had from winter left over. It's just beads and little foam cutouts of snowman parts and twigs, so they could like make their own snowman out of Flubber. But this is another good thing to put out with it. Also just like cups and spoons, things like that. Let your kids get creative and they can decide what they want to do. But hope this was helpful, and can't wait to make some other stuff with you soon. Have a good day. Bye.